Hey, what's going on? This is Rick. Just wanted to share some things that been on my mind for a while, and seems like every time I'm driving is the only time I get to have alone time. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was the salt of the world. Jesus says we are the salt of the world. There's a reason why he says that. Do we give it flavor? It sounds great. Yes, it does sound great. We give it flavor. But before I get into the salt, I want to get into managing what you have and things like that. Little things, nothing too big. And it goes back to the story of the talents that the good king gave to 3 of his servants. He had given one servant 5 talents. To another servant he gave 2, and to another servant he gave 1. And he said, "Do with them what you must. Take care of them and multiply them if possible." So the king goes away. And by the time he comes back, he says, "Call my servants. I want to see what they have done with what I had given them." Excuse me. And the first servant with 5 talents says, "I have brought you 10. The second servant with 2 brought him 4. And the second servant comes up to him and says, "I knew you are a just man, full of accountability and integrity, that I didn't want to lose it. For the sake of losing it, I buried it. So your 1 talent, here it is." And he says, "Your 1 talent." And he goes on to saying what's going to happen to this man, and says he'll go to where the gnashing of the teeth is and stuff like that. And his 1 talent he gave to the guy with 10 talents so that he can multiply it even more. What I'm trying to say is that, especially in the crisis that we're in right now, we're in this crisis and everything is taken away. And it makes you wonder why it was taken away. And when you go into Genesis, in the book of Genesis, it says, God had not caused it to rain upon the land. Nothing has grown yet. And he goes on to say, why? Because there was not a man to till the ground. God is all about managing what you have. So if he has an earth full of plants and things that are growing, he needs somebody to till the ground. So God will not put something there if nobody will manage it. So us ourselves have to be diligent with what he has given us. In the Bible, it goes on to say, a house on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do you light up a lamp and put it under a bowl. But when you light a lamp, it is set in the house for everybody in the house to be able to see that light. So if God is lighting a fire in you and you are hiding under a bowl, or if you are hidden, or if you are hiding your talents under to where nobody can see because you are afraid to lose them, you are mismanaging what God has given you. And it takes us into this crisis that we're in today. And it makes us wonder, God, have we been managing what you had given us to the best of our abilities? And it's this. And we know, Father, that everything is caused by you or is allowed through you. Because we know that in Job, the devil could not touch any one of your people, for they have a hedge of protections around them. So it's either something you have caused or you have allowed, Father. So once again, it says we are the salt of the world. And if we are the salt of the world, are we giving it flavor? Oh yes, we dancing, we singing, we doing our thizzle. But another thing salt does is it preserves it. It is a great preservative. Are we preserving what God has given us? And are we being the best managers for what God has done in our lives? So he's given us all this talent. He's given us this light. And he's given us this huge house. The house we've hidden. The light we hid under a bowl. and the talents that we hid where no man can see. Which these talents have brought me here to you today. There's nothing, honestly, that a lot of people have been through that I myself have not been through. I am currently a pipe superintendent at a job here in Pennsylvania. I didn't wake up with the briefcase and drawings and blueprints and stuff like that. No, I was actually a helper. Before I was a helper, I worked at a grocery store. Before I worked at a grocery store, I did a little job at McDonald's. Before I was at McDonald's, I was in jail for 10 months. And before I was in jail in 10 months, I committed 3 felonies before the age of 16. I was in juvenile justice boot camp for 8 months, where they took all my freedoms away. And I knew since then there was a light. Before then, I had no idea why I endured anything, why all the bad things were happening to me. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I realized that I couldn't have gone through that and be where I am today and talk to anyone in this world if I wouldn't have endured what I endured. The beatings as a child, any kind of beating, physically, emotional, anything. The little I was given. But it was because I wasn't faithful with what the little he had given me. It wasn't my time to be managing more. I always thought, why? No, it was because me. I could not manage the little God had given me. And it wasn't until I realized what he was putting me through was for his purpose that I realized that everything that I endured was for him. And the only success for me is living for God. Everything I have now is what my heart desired. And I didn't get it until I started fulfilling his purpose. And I know that now because I have the heart of God. I was baptized. I was born again. I did everything that God asked me of, and I knew there was more to life than what this world was giving me. And the purpose of this message was, what is it that you are mismanaging? What is it in your life that you are mismanaging? That God says you are not faithful with the little. So, therefore, I can't give you more until you are faithful with the little. Become the salt of the world that God intended you to. Preserve it. Take care of it. Till the grounds. Once again, this is Rick. Sorry for the scruffiness. About to do my Walmart battle. We here are still, I guess, quarantined, you can say, but it makes you wonder. This world, us people, and as a church, what did we mismanage in this world that God had to shut it down? Hey, I love y'all. I know it took me a while to do this, but stay blessed and continue to be the light, the salt, the talent, the house on a hill. Jesus loves you. Thanks. Bye.